They say kids are like boomerangs, and when you send them off the first time, they come back. And I am so thankful for that, because the first time I sent them off and became an empty nester, I was not ready. I could feel it coming. You know, like it was Aaliyah had left for college, Hakeem was a senior, Brent and Brandon were already gone. And I could feel that like quiet coming from a mile away. And I wasn't just sad, I became like completely unraveled. And in advance, because, you know, for 2 decades, for all of this time, since I was 17 years old, I was needed as mom. And I cried during this time more than I ever expected to, before it happened and even when it happened. And it wasn't because I wasn't wanting to let them go, because I raised them to leave, right? I raised them to be independent. But it was because I didn't know who I was going to be without them. One night I got so completely irrational that Brian didn't mow the grass in the time frame that I wanted him to. And I like stormed outside at 8:30 p.m. And it was like nearly dark. And I was out there mowing the grass like a mad woman, running over rocks and everything. I didn't even care. I was tears streaming down my eyes. But it was never about the grass. It was about all of this emotion and energy that I had nowhere to put, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So I did what any reasonable woman would do, and I got a puppy, something that I could take care of before the kids left. And I still have that puppy. So here's the thing about the boomerangs, is they come back, but they don't come back to stay forever. And that's a good thing. But they came back enough that it gave me some time to adjust to some things. And I realized that the hardest part of letting go of them was figuring out my identity, because a few years later, here I am in a completely different role. Completely different feeling about it, I guess. And my role is different. I'm now a grandma and stuff too. But I've learned to figure out who I am aside from them needing me as a parent every single day. And so I think as women, that's a really tough thing, because we put so much of our time and energy into our kids. And I'm not saying men don't do this too, but as a woman, that's all I can speak from. As a mom, we spend so much time and energy into pouring our lives into our kids that becomes our identity. And then whenever that season is coming to an end, we don't know who we are anymore. And so I'm just going to encourage you. Women ask me all the time, what do I do in this season? And I'm going to encourage you to find some hobbies that you like. I'm going to encourage you to find a support group of friends. Maybe that's at church. Maybe that's a group of women. Maybe it's a book club. I don't know. But find your women that can support you. Maybe some friends. If you don't have friends, go make friends. And I think it's such a time of us as women finding our new identity and who we're going to be in this next season. Because you know what? Our life is not over, ladies. It's just the beginning of a new era. And I want to be here with you for it.